is how do we deal with navigator geolocation actually. Yeah. So this example I will upload to you for your verification, means just for practicing. So this is an example for navigator geolocation. So now after understanding the navigator object, so in the JavaScript built-in objects, one more object is there, history object actually. History object actually. Earlier we have a lot of use of history object. Now history object is used to limited functionality actually. So history object is nothing but, so it provides properties and methods that are used to control the browser history. So browser history, that means it provides options like back, that it provides options method like back, provides method like forward, it will provide method like go, so it will provide options like length, properties. So this back, forward are used to move to the previous page, move to the next page, move to any specific page, go, and to get how many pages you have visited in the history, length, all these details we can access by using history object actually. For example, suppose we are using some objects here. So I will create a new file and say history.html, and you can see here. So here I am defining a script function. So F1, we can just use a history object. Here you can see alert, just alert, or simply document.write. So total recently visited, recently visited, right? So recently viewed, and here I will put a dollar. We will use history.length pages. Like this we are defining. History.length is used to get the count, how many pages you visited. For example, see now. So it says how many pages you visited recently. You can get that. See, recently viewed one page. That means the current page actually. Current page. Okay, what I will do is I will open a page called location. Fine. I will open another page called navigator. Okay, fine. Again, I will open our page called history. Okay, now you can see you visited 4 pages because history visited 2 times. First time we visited history. After that again we visited now currently. That means it contains the information about how many pages you are recently viewed. How many pages are present in your recent history. It can get access to that and display. Remember, it is not all history. It is current browsing history. Current browsing history means in the current browsing, how many pages you visited. Such things we can easily access, and we can display that, because sometimes we need to know, because when we are providing some pages, we will simply say that two pages you can visit for free. From fourth page you need to register. So only 2 pages you can view free. From fourth page you need to register. Then obviously we will write a logic now. So obviously we will write a logic here. So that means here we say, so if history dot length is greater than or equal to 4, then we will put an alert saying that please register for more. Like this we have given. It is greater than or equal to 3, suppose I am giving. If it is greater than 3, okay. Then we say please register for more. Then we will use location.href. If we have any registration form, we can navigate there. That means suppose we are having any registration form. So out of BOM, we are having any registration. That means if there is a page called some register, then we can take them there. So that means / register.html, something like this. We are navigating to that location. Else, so here we are displaying a message. The message is recently viewed how many pages, and you will say that free pages, recently viewed free pages. That means now again when I start now, you can see first time I am accessing this. Now it says that so you recently viewed how many pages. It will display 1 page. Okay, good. I am accessing another page called navigator. Okay, after that I am accessing again location. That means in the same website I am accessing several pages, and again I am accessing so history, and hit enter. Then this time you can see it says that please register for more. Why? Because already you visited 3 pages here, and for more you have to register. Then I click OK. Then automatically it will navigate us to the registration form, and it will display the registration form. If we have that registration form, we can just navigate to that location. That means we can simply so verify how many pages he visited. Based on that, we can navigate to any specific location. So this is length. Not only length, we have options like back, like forward. That means, for example, I will go to the register page. In the register page, I am writing here. I am using a simple button here. I am just using a button here. In the button, I will say back. When I click on this back, it should go to previous page. That means on click is equal to history.back. We can use the function history.back. And you can see that it is accessing that. There is a back button. And when I click on this back button, it has to get the previous page in the history. Previous page was location. It goes to the previous page in history. So that means the back button will take us to the previous page in the history. Similarly, if we have a forward button, it goes to the next page in the history. So you can take to any specific page also. Go is used to take any specific page. That means we say home.html. That means it will take to that specific page. It will take to that specific page. Remember, it will take to that specific page if it is in history. We can use number like go -2. That means now what it will do is it goes 2 pages back. If I say 2, it goes 2 pages forward actually. So back actually one step back to previous page in history. That's what it will do. Forward, so one step forward to next page in history, and go to any specific page. Or so if I give negative value, that means it is back. And if I give positive value, it is forward. So that means I can give like example like, so example like we can give like go. So go and to, that means forward 2 pages. So just syntax I will give you so that it is easy. So that means we can write like this. Syntax we can configure in this way. That means we can define the syntax in this way. So we can write history dot go and to. That means it will be 2 pages forward. And we can also define like, so history dot go and -2, and this is like 2 pages back. Like this we can do, or we can go to any specific also. So we can go to any specific by defining history.go and home.html. That means it goes to the specific page. We can define. And the length is technically used to, it returns, so it returns the total count of count of pages in history. In history, how many pages are there? It will return that total count. That is actually the purpose of history object. And this is one simple example. So this is one simple example of history object. That means if you visited more than 3 pages, then it will ask you to register. If you are watching within the 3 pages, then it says that 3 pages are free. You can watch. And if more than 3 pages, then automatically it will be redirected to registration form. So that is a simple approach of history. Earlier, we have a lot of control on history, means in old version browsers actually. But now latest browsers are not providing that facility. That is the reason history object functionality is restricted now. History object functionality is limited now. So we don't have much functionality for history object to handle, right? So that is what actually we have to define. Yeah, automatically when you close the application, so then the length will be 0, right? So that is not your complete computer history. It is current browsing history. Understood? It is not complete computer history. It is current browsing history, right? Yeah. So current browsing history. It is current browsing history, right? So that is the basic browser objects. This all comes under the category of JavaScript browser objects. We learned JavaScript built-in objects. So built-in objects. So 2 categories are there. One is browser objects, and standard normal objects. That means you can say that string object and array object, and we have regular expression object, This all comes under object only. Math object. This all comes under the category of objects. So date object, all these are the JavaScript objects, date object and all. These are all built-in objects. So in JavaScript, so you have seen how to handle the operators, statements, and the browser objects. Next, after understanding about the browser objects, so we need to know about another important, that is browser events. We need to know about browser events and OOP concepts, how we handle them in JavaScript. Browser events actually are, technically speaking, here you need to know some important about event actually. The first important question here is, I will just save this. Yeah, first important point here is, what are these browser events? Already we used some events like on click, on change, some events we have used. But now we need to technically understand uh, detailing about the event mechanism actually. So that's we are going to see now. We are going to understand that. Actually, JavaScript browser events, technically first point is, so what is event? So what is event? How event is defined actually? So what is event? How event is defined? How event is configured actually? So if anyone asks what is event, in general, first I will explain. See, in general, what is event? Technically, what is, how event is defined? We will see both options. For example, suppose, so we will take an example of a ball. We'll take an example of a ball. Suppose we have a ball. Now, technically, so suppose this ball, a ball is having like some specifications. So we just have some ball, okay. And the specification is, suppose this ball is some red color is there. So this ball is a 5 mm diameter, and it is red in color, So ball is 5 mm diameter and red color. So that is how the ball looks like actually. And ball can perform actions like, so ball can fly. So that means ball can fly. Just a basic one. Like a ball can explode like this. A ball can fly and explode. So here, how the ball looks like, the physical description. That means its size, its color. These are called as, generally technically we call these as properties. That means the ball is 5 mm diameter and it is red in color. These are called properties. Properties define how the object looks like, height, width, color, shape, all these are properties. Physical description. What actions that ball can do? What action ball can do? What are the actions that ball can do? That means it can fly and explode. These are the actions that ball can do. Now, generally, we call these as what actions it can perform. We call them as methods. Methods are not the actions performed by that object. What actions it can perform. We call them as methods. Now the point is, when it can perform these methods, that means when a ball can fly, when a ball can explode, these are the points. Generally, a ball can fly. So a ball can fly when I kick the ball. So when I kick the ball, it can fly. When I pin the ball, it can explode. it can explode. That means when I kick it, when we kick the ball, it flies. When we pin it, it explodes. That means these methods are performed when you kick and pin. These are called events. The actions performed by an object are methods. When those actions need to be performed is decided by events. That means on kick or pin, so on throw or something. These are called events. That means when the actions need to be performed, that is defined by these events. So suppose if we take a technical example now. Suppose we take a technical example. So we have a button. This button is having so close, and this button is having so some cross symbol here. So symbol here like this. Now this button is having some red color. Right? This is the red color. So button is having so color as red, and the text as close, and the icon as cross. That is the icon, or you can say image, image or icon, anything. We have this. Now this button can close. This button can close. And when it closes, when it clicked, so when I click the button, then it closes. That means how the button looks like. So the color, the text, the icon, these are properties. What actions it can do? It can close. Any specific window or something. That is the action performed. Now you can see that these are called methods. Close is a method. When it will close, when button is clicked, that means click is an event. Then on clicks, the actions are performed when you define any specific event. When event triggers, that means when event triggers, the actions are performed. So that means actually event sends a message to this method. It notifies the method. So that method executes and performs the functionality. That is the reason in technical terms. So event is defined as event is a message sent by sender to its subscriber in order to notify the change. Event is a message sent by sender to its subscriber in order to notify the change. Actually, event follows a software design pattern called observer. This is very important technical point in interviews. Actually, at experience level interviews also, they may ask you this type of question at experience level, like which design pattern event follows. So generally event follows an observer pattern. It have a subscriber, it have a sender, subscriber. These words are important. I will tell you technically how it actually works. I will tell you technically how it actually works. You have seen some events working, but technically how it works, I will show now. Suppose see, actually we have a function. So button say, so get details. Get details is a function. Okay, this function, so we are using a button on click is equal to get details. That's how we are writing. Get is the method and button close. Get is the text here. Generally, so when people see this type of logic, so then immediately people have one impression. So one conclusion actually. Conclusion is nothing but generally what uh, people think like is, so we are declaring a function called get details. We are declaring a function get details and we are calling get details here, get details on button click. That means we are declaring a function get details and we are calling that function get details. So button click. That's how everyone thinks. So I hope majority of you also think in the same way, na? That means there is a function called get details and we are calling the function get details on button click. Am I right? What do you say? There is a function get details and we are calling the function get details. Am I right? Generally, that is the impression anyone have when they say this, when they see this logic actually. That means, remember, event is not accessing the logic actually. Actually, it is working in a reverse way. When you click, then it points towards this function. It points towards this function. That means what happens is the on click event triggers and it points towards get details. It points towards get details. That means it is pointing towards get details. So you are not writing a function and calling the function. You are pointing towards the function. That is the reason this is called this line. This is called, this is event. On click is event. Okay. On click is event. But this entire line, that means on click, it is pointing towards get details. This entire is called event handler. Event handler. That is the reason in real world projects, if you are working with events, then we have an habit of saying that event handler is a function pointer. It is a function pointer. Generally, in many programming languages, they have a concept called pointers, function pointers. And some technologies, they call this as delegate mechanism. Delegate is a function pointer. So event handler is a function pointer. Event handler is a function pointer. So that is the reason some technologies, they have a reasonable terms also. But we will stick to only JavaScript. We will not cross more than JavaScript. So because people will be confused if we talk about other languages. So because in some languages, generally, they have an habit of writing. So suppose say public. So get details. They have object sender. and E event arcs, event arcs E, like this. Event arcs E. They have an habit of like this, writing like this. So several other technologies actually. Now, if anybody asks like, what is the meaning of this word sender here? Why you are writing that sender word here? Actually, it can be X or Y or Z, anything, because it is an object type. But why you are writing sender as a word? Because it is a word used for our design patterns actually. Sender sends a message and subscriber will execute it. So we don't care about this here. We will stick to only JavaScript. In JavaScript, generally, event points towards, not only in JavaScript, everywhere, event points towards the function and it follows a pattern called observer. And some technologies will call as function pointer, some technologies call as delegate mechanism. Delegate means equal to function pointer only. That means event follows a delegate mechanism. I will show you event follows. We will prove that how it follows delegate mechanism. Actually, observe here. We have head section in that script, empty. So we have the body in that button and get here. On click is equal to get details. So is there any function called get details to access? What do you say? Is there any function called get details? Is there any function called get details here? We don't have any function called get details. I will run this here. I will run this here. And observe, I will open the debugger. So in the console, is there any error? Is there any error in the console? In the console, we don't have any error, right? So we cannot see any error here. So then actually, if you are thinking that you are writing a function and calling a function, then when you are thinking that you are writing a function and calling the function, how you can call a function which is not there? It should show some error, na? What do you say? It should show some error, right? But see here, when I click on get button, now it tries to point towards the function in script. It tries to point towards the function in the script. And it will not able to find that function. Then it will throw an error. You can see when I click on get button, now it throws an error. It says that get details is not defined. Understood? Understood, everyone? So event is not function calling. Understood? Event is not function calling. It is function pointer. Understood? That means you are pointing towards the function. That function executes. It is not a function. It is not a function calling. It is a function pointer. Function pointer. So that's what people call as delegate mechanism. Delegate mechanism. It is a function pointer. That means this is sender. Remember, here 2 points are there. This is called function details. This is called subscriber. This is called subscriber. Subscriber contains collection of functionalities to execute. That means subscriber contains a set of functionality to perform. And this is sender. This is sender. So this sender will send a notification to the subscriber. saying that now you can execute. That means subscriber will not execute until sender sends notification. When sender will send the notification, on click of button, it will send notification. On the click of button, it sends a notification. It sends a notification. That notification, that means if that notification is sent to subscriber, subscriber will execute that functionality. So event is a sender. Event is a message that sends notification to the subscriber. Subscriber will perform the functionality. That is how technically we define event. In any technology in the world, event uses the same mechanism. You may be learning Java or .NET or PHP or Python or any technology in the world, event follows the same mechanism. Event follows the same mechanism. Everywhere it follows the same mechanism. And everywhere it follows the same design pattern. Event follows a design pattern called observer. Observer is actually communication pattern. In software design patterns, it is a communication pattern. It comes under the category of behavioral patterns actually. So event sends a message. That means now see here. Now we will keep a function here. So function by the name get details. Get details. Hello, something like this we return. Now we don't have any problem. Now when I click this get, it will point towards it, it will execute. Now very important is, suppose I am having a select. Select is having an option called, so suppose get. So or like this. Now select on change the same function. That means any element can point towards the same function.
Hello.
Any element on any event can point towards the same function. That means now important here is when I run this, you can see I click here and select post, then hello will come. I click on the button, then hello will come. That means anyone can point towards the function from anywhere you can point. Function is not only for one. Any element can point towards the function. Any event can point towards the function. Event can point towards the function. So that is the reason this is called as a function pointer. That means this function can be pointed to any location. So event is not function calling. Event is not function calling. Event is actually the concept of function pointing, right? That is what actually communication is. Now here the key point, one more important is, what are the various types of events? I will tell you. So one basic thing I will give you. So every event have two options to pass. See, we have a function. So get details. This is the function. Okay, get details we are having. Fine. Now here we are designing a button. Button on click is equal to get details. And every function here. So we close the button and we just define get. So button have some properties like ID. So btn get. So button have properties like class as btn and btn primary. So that is the button class, something like this. Now here key point is every event. So on click on, how many events are there? I will tell you. Every event have two arguments. Every event have two arguments. One is this, another one is event. Every event can have two arguments. One is this, another one is event. That means these are optional. That means if you want, you can use these arguments. Event have two arguments, this and event. So they are standard. They are optional arguments. That means if you want, you can use those arguments. What is advantage of these arguments? This is an argument which is used to, send information about the current object. That means it will send information about current object. Current object is nothing but button. Information about current object means you can simply say that, so its properties. That means button related all properties are sent. So all details are sent through this keyword. So this is an argument which sends information about the button. That means button ID, button class, button name, everything about button is sent by using this keyword. So we have event also. We have event. Actually, event is used to send information about the current event. Current event is this click. It will send information about that click event. Where it will send this information, these two details are sent. These two details are sent to the function. That means now function is expecting two parameters. One parameter is object parameter, another parameter is event parameter. It is expecting two parameters, object and event. OBJ collects information about the button and E collects the information about the event. You may ask, like, what event may contain? Button have ID and all. What event may contain? Every event have lot of properties. Like, so we have like client X. We have like client Y. We have like key code. So we have like char code, etc. All this comes under event related properties. Event also have lot of properties. So those properties we can access. Why? Because we need event properties also so many times. So for example, why we need event properties so many times? For example, I will give you a simple point, like suppose, so you are designing a game. So this is one button. On this button, you designed a navigation like this. That means 4 options you have, 4 arrows you created. Now, what is the point here is, when you click anywhere you click, it is click only. You click right side, you click left side, you click up, you click down, then it is click only. That means button, you click anywhere, it is click only. But when they click on right button, so right side on the button, right side, then I have to do a different functionality. When they click on button left side, I have to do another functionality. That means moving left or moving right, like that functionality. That means they clicked the button. On the button where they clicked, They clicked right side, they clicked left side, they clicked above, they clicked below. How do we know that? That means even a click also contains a lot of properties. Through the properties, we can get the position where they clicked, how they clicked, what they used to click. So then based on that, we can perform some functionality. Based on that, we can perform the functionality and we can deal with the functionality. So technically, when you are dealing with event, every event has lot of scope to handle. That means don't think that just click is click. So a click can be handled in several ways. For example, suppose see here this is some MS Word, http://www.amazon.in. You see automatically it becomes a link. Now, do you know when I generally link in a web page, we click, it will open. But this is in MS Word. Here you have to click with control key. I hope majority of you people know it. You have to click with control key. Press hold. See, when I move the mouse, it says control plus click. That means I hold down the control key and click, then it will open. That means now click is not just click. It should identify whether you used a control key or not. If you used a control key and clicked, then it has to do some work. If you don't use control key and clicked, it will not do that work. That means just click is not click. Lot of things are there for click. That is the reason you should know that a click is an event which contains several properties. We need those properties also. So event related properties we access by using this E. By using this event argument, event, we access the event related properties. Remember, both are optional. You can use one or you can use both, your wish, whatever you want. You can ignore both. All these days we never used them, but observe carefully. Suppose I am designing a button. So this is insert, another button, update, another button. So that is delete. We are using the button insert, update and delete buttons we are using. Now generally for insert, for update, delete, I want different functionality to perform. Then tell me how many functions we need to write for 3 different functionalities. Generally, how many functions we write? Insert should do insert, update should do update, delete should do delete. So generally, we have to write 3 different functions for 3 different functionalities. But now we can write one function. Suppose database is the function. Now this function by all the 3. That means on click is equal to database. So that is the function. All are pointing towards the same function. Now the question is, then how the function knows you clicked insert or update or delete? How the function knows you clicked insert or update or delete? For every button, we will give a name. This button name is insert. Okay, this button name is update. And this button name is delete. 3 buttons are using same function, but 3 buttons are having different name. Now, if you can send this name to that database function, it can identify which button you clicked. Am I right? If you can send this name, it can identify. Am I right? Now, in order to send the name, so which event argument we have to use? In order to send the name, which event argument we have to use? Here we have to use the event argument, this Understood? We have to use this. Remember, you can directly send a specific value like this dot name. Then it will send only name. But if you want to send all details, then you can simply send this. Okay. That means here we are all these are sending the current object related details here. Now this is a reserved word you have to use in the same way. And I am accessing this here. So this is a formal parameter obj. That means this related all details can be accessed now through obj. Here we can use a simple switch. If obj means it refers to button. If obj.name, we will pass that button name into the switch. That means these details will be passed into the switch. That means now case we are expecting. If it is insert is the case, then document.write. So it should show the message. It should show the message record inserted. And break. We already learned switch how to use. Then if it is case update, then say document.write. So record updated. And we set a break. And if the case is delete, and it says, so document.write, record deleted, and we set the break here. That's how we need to configure. Now when I run this, you can see that. So when I run this here, these three are the functions. And when I click on delete, it will say deleted. When I click on update, it says updated. And when I click on insert, it says inserted. That means we can access the object related details and handle. That means you need only one function to handle all the functionalities. Remember, all are pointing towards the same function, but can be defined with different functionalities. That you can do by sending information about that particular object. Object related information you can send by using this keyword. Object related information you can send by using this keyword. And event related information you can send by using click, by using event. You can pass another one, event. Currently, we are not accessing any event related details. If we want, we can access the event related details and display. I will show you in another example how we can manage that. But currently, first, object related details we are accessing. And to access object related details, we can use this keyword. And here we are accessing that name. Remember, every object have lot of details. You can access all the details and use them. Event related details, if you want to send, you can send by using event. That means there is another option here. So event we can send. This event is used to send event related details. So we can collect those event related details here by using e-reference. By using the e-reference, we can send event related details. Suppose I want to get here alert, I will put here e dot as I told you that suppose CTRL key. That means have they used control key or not? I will show you. That means so control key true or false. Observe carefully here now. I am clicking on the button normally. Then it says control key is false. So no control key. Suppose if I clicked with control key, I hold down the control key and clicked on the button, then it says true. That means you used control key or not also it can identify. So if they used control key, you can put another functionality. So if they have not used control key, you can use another functionality. So depending on that we can handle, right? Suppose what I am doing here, I am writing a condition. If e dot ctrl key. If control key is used, then only it has to do. That means if it returns boolean, if it is true, then only this operation should happen. I will keep this switch inside that if condition, Else, if they don't do, then we will put a message document.write. Please use control key. So that is what control plus click. Control plus click. That means now see here, I am just normally clicking. Then it says please use control plus click. Okay, I used control and clicked. Then it says deleted. That's good. That means we can even identify which key they are using. So how it knows that whether they clicked with control key or not. That can be done. By using this event. Event sends the information about event. This the information about object. These two are important to handle the events. Now we have a lot of events that we need to discuss here. So event arguments two. One is this, another one is event. And there are several events we have to learn. Some events already we use it, but we have to learn all the events like mouse events, like key events, like timer events, and miscellaneous events, how to handle. What are mouse events, key events, timer events, miscellaneous events, different types of events. How do we handle them? We need to learn step by step. That we'll see in our next session, right? Tomorrow, we will continue with this. And in tomorrow's session, we will have some examples, working on some examples by using these events, right? Tomorrow we'll do that, right? Yeah, these events are important because these events we have to use everywhere in the same way, even in jQuery, JavaScript, everywhere, same. Once you know here, everywhere we have to use the same.